So the Fiestas and the MX5s lining up on the grid again now for our second and final race of the weekend. The first one was nothing short of sensational, particularly within the Fiesta ranks, so race number 2 should see more of the same. In the MX5s, it's David Cousins and Oren O'Neill on row 1, with Stephen Murray and Jim Kennedy sharing the second row. And then we've got the gap back to the Fiestas. Brendan Fitzgerald and Mark Stewart set to do battle again from row 1. Michael Fitzgerald and Andy Kavanagh are on the second row ahead of Dan Keelan, Neville Anderson, Ricky Hull and Barry Barrable. Then Conor Mulholland, Paul Stewart, Stephen Walker and Michael Mulholland round out the 12 Fiesta runners. So 5 second board then is raised. The red car from pole position is David Cousins, the black alongside Stephen Murray. Ready to go racing here then in the MX5s and the Fiestas. Refs start to rise, away they go. Good start made by all of our MX5s really towards the sharp end of the field. They rush down towards the first corner then at Debtors Dip, and it's going to be the Stephen Murray car that comes out on top by the looks of it. Challenging there all the way down to 3rd or 4th is David Cousins. Not a good start at all from him. Into Colonial and side by side between the two Fitzgeralds there, and I think he's going to be Brendan Fitzgerald then that comes out of that with the Fiesta Glass lead. Bit of bumping and boring over the curves. One car spins and it's number 29 that has gone around, and that's Dan Keelan, unfortunately, who will bounce his way back on the road, but right at the back of the order. Through Fisherman's then, what sort of order have they got themselves into? Well, it's not been a good start for Mark Stewart, I can tell you that much, because there is the black and white number 55 car that should have been inside the top 2 given his grid position, and actually is down in about 5th or 6th. Front to the field, it is number 31 then that leads the way. Stephen Murray in the black and green Mazda MX5 heads down into the hairpin. David Cousins though is back into 2nd position now. Oren O'Neill looked down into 4th, but going for 3rd again up the inside into the hairpin, and she goes through. In the Fiestas, it is very close indeed. Oh, and a bit wayward there. One car out onto the grass. That was one of the Fitzgeralds, I think, was it not? That ran onto the green stuff there at the hairpin. Again, we'll try and pick that up in a moment because there was so much going on there. But no, the 2 Fitzgeralds there. There was another black and yellow car, confusingly, that was in the mix and went straight on. So through Debtors Dip they go. And into view, it is 60 that leads the way then. So Brendan Fitzgerald has the lead. That, I think, is Michael Fitzgerald, is it, in 3rd. There's Mark Stewart coming through in, what's that, 6th position for him. So there's been a real jumble of the order in the Fiestas, as we sort of thought would be the case. 98 there trying to make some progress. That is Barry Barrable, who is just in front, in fact, of Mark Stewart, our runner-up from race number 1, and just behind the number 18 machine of Conor Mulholland. So the scrap that's going on for 4th position, just way behind the leading trio though, who have started to get away a little bit here. So race starts to settle into the familiar pattern, which is the MX5s pulling away and the Fiestas not, well, usually not pulling away from each other, and certainly for 4th on back it's very close, but the top 3, as I said, there isn't a separation there. The hairpin again. 5 there, Mark Stewart still not able to get any ground, but there is a mistake from the number 18 car, and so Conor Mulholland will lose 1 place at least, and he may well lose another one to Mark Stewart before they reach Debtors Dip this time. So there is Stewart. Look, he's got his nose in front just about at the start-finish line. He's on the outside line into the first turn, that flat-out left-hander at Debtors. Not a place you really want to go round the outside. That's exactly what Stewart does, though, and he gives it the inside line for the entry to Colonial. But I don't think he's been able to commit to the move, has he? No, and in fact, coming around the outside now is Neville Anderson to potentially take a place away from him. So Mark Stewart there in danger of actually going backwards rather than forwards, but they come out of it all in the same order as they went into the corner. So still the 18 machine, despite that mistake. Conor Mulholland staying in front. Mark Stewart all over him, gets a better run out of Fisherman's, but the straight between Fisherman's and the John Crossley chicane is not really long enough to make anything happen there. So I'm about to suggest it's not really a place you want to run side by side either in the chicane, but it doesn't really seem to deter this lot. They are happy to race door handle to door handle pretty much across the entire circuit, and we're very grateful for that because it's provided some of the best racing we've seen all weekend here. Brakes, there you go. And Dirt getting away here, definitely. Paul Stewart is the man in 2nd, white and blue number 11 car. Or is he? Because he's a bit slow off the hairpin, and so he might end up losing that 2nd spot here down the pit straight. Let's see if that's the case as they head into left-hander at Debtors. But there is the 70 car. So the car I saw off the first lap was Michael Fitzgerald there, because he's right at the back of the pack now. So Michael Fitzgerald unfortunately did go grass cutting slightly on the first lap, so he's got some real work to do. Oren O'Neill here didn't have a great start either, so she's stuck back behind Stephen Murray now. With David Cousins, I presume, now back through into the race lead. Let's see, yep, there he is, escaping up the road, so Oren O'Neill now trying to get back ahead of Stephen Murray here. These two had a nice battle in the early portion of race number 1. Oren then got through, caught David Cousins, and then promptly spun at the last corner, so to avoid a repeat of that. Is she close enough to have a go into the hairpin? She's certainly looking, but more to try and distract the car in front. I think, oh no, she has committed actually. That was a really nice move, and Oren O'Neill forces her way alongside and in fact gets through on the exit of the corner, so very, very good move there from Oren. She's into second place, but then seems to slow strangely across the start-finish line, and so Stephen Murray is back alongside her and has the inside line for Detta's Dip, who emerges ahead. It is the black and green car again, so Murray back into P2. Oren has to fight back once more now into Colonial. She again though is very brave on the brakes, and this time should make it stick on the exit. So Oren O'Neill now is into second position, but had to work a bit harder for that than she'd have liked. There's the freight train, there are the Fiestas, and I can't begin to tell you what order they were in. Well, this is for second place, so it is number 11, Paul Stewart, that's still in second position. Having to fight off about 6 other cars now as they head into the right-hander at Colonial. 13 is in third position, so that's Andy Kavanagh. Then 29 is that neck. It can't be Dan Keelan, can it? Because he was off on the first lap. 98, excuse me, is in fourth position, Barry Barrable. Then the number 18 is next up, which is Conable Holland. Of course, in amongst all of this, we have the Northern Ireland Fiestas and then the Irish Fiestas, just to add further confusion. So they're all sort of racing each other for overall position. There are several different championship battles going on here. So the Fitzgeralds are in the Irish Championship, for example. But then people like Conable Holland, for example, Michael Mulholland, Neville Anderson, Paul Stewart, they're all in the Northern Irish Championship. So they're not actually racing each other for points here, most of these drivers, but they don't really appear to care too much. Paul Stewart keeping number 13, Andy Kavanagh, behind, but Andy, of course, is also trying to fight a rearguard action to keep number 98, Barry Barrable, at bay. And then that looked as though that was number 55, Mark Stewart, making a move. I think he was up alongside Conable Holland as they came down the pit straight. Let's see, there's the leader, checking out now rather. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, all together, and there's a spin, and around goes the number 18 of Conable Holland. Very spectacularly indeed. Someone was on the grass in avoidance as well there, I think. That was Fitzgerald, wasn't it? Michael Fitzgerald was having to bounce across the grass. So too, I think, the number 14 of Ricky Hull, excuse me. And so Conable Holland with a very, very high-speed spin at the first corner. He's lucky to get away with that. It's then the four-way scrap now really for second place, and a mistake again there through Fisherman's for Paul Stewart, and this time there is an opportunity up the inside line for Andy Kavanagh into the chicane, forces the issue, goes over the curb. Can he turn into the left-hander? Well, he does anyway. I'm not sure that he quite had the move made yet, but thankfully Paul Stewart backed out of it, and so he's really slow onto the back straight, and so the two cars behind him, Barry Barrable and Mark Stewart, both get a real run. They go either side of him, and they're going to be three abreast into the braking zone at the hairpin. Stewart on the left there, the black and white car could be about to gain a couple of spots out of this one. He's gained one, and over the grass on the inside of the corner goes the number 98 car of Barry Barrable, and Stewart I think will get both of them, won't he? He's got his nose in front of the number 11 of Paul Stewart. Wheel to wheel they go across the start finish line, down towards the first corner once more. This is for third place, remember, because the leader has pulled right away now, number 60 Brendan Fitzgerald, and that move made at the top end of the circuit, look, has allowed see the change for second position now. But it's all about what's going on for third, and Mark Stewart's got the inside line again for Colonial, but we know that Paul Stewart's not afraid to go right round the outside, don't hit each other, they just avoid contact on this occasion. They're still wheel to wheel. This has been nearly a full lap now that they've been side by side, and finally Mark Stewart completes the manoeuvre at Fisherman's. Now the number 7 of Neville Anderson joins in the fun. He's the purple and yellow car that goes to the inside now into the chicane, and this is where Paul Stewart lost a place a lap ago, make sure not to do so again, and a mistake there for Michael Fitzgerald. Goes straight on, everyone's on the grass. Welcome to the latest round of the Northern Irish Rallycross Championship, everybody. It's a one-make Ford Fiesta affair, but my word, it's exciting. And what order are they in now? That's the question. I think it's fourth place that's side by side. Paul Stewart defending, and defending from everybody, really. Back on the inside going Michael Fitzgerald. Stewart gets the better just about of Neville Anderson. And Indeed, Fitzgerald, I think, gained his position behind, did he? Yes, sort of. They're still side by side, but Barry Barrable, the 98 car, has to give way. Then number 14, Ricky Hull, with a grandstand view of all of this, but he hasn't really got fully involved for a little while. So, about time he got stuck in, I'd say. Right, would you believe it? They're single file for a corner or two, or no, 2 corners is probably pushing it. They're wheel to wheel again, now into Colonial. Back to the outside goes Neville Anderson, trying to carry a bit more speed through Colonial to have a go at Paul Stewart, who's way out wide. That'll mean he's slow through the second part of Colonial and will be vulnerable to attack into Fisherman's. Neville Anderson will look to try and take advantage of that little mistake, but actually Stewart gets into the right-hander ahead. 5 Fiestas in shot as they come through, and again Stewart is scrappy out of Fisherman, seems to be understeering wide over that curb and hurting his exit speed down to the Crossley chicane. Now, Barry Barrable was at the front of this queue a lap or so ago, and somehow he's now second from last, so the blue 98 car somewhere has lost some ground. There's a good view of the Fiesta pack then, so number 60 leads the way. That's the black and yellow car just about to turn into the corner just about now. There he goes, that's Brendan Fitzgerald. Then the fight that's going on for second place, because Mark Stewart has now actually been able to catch the 28 car, isn't it, of Stephen Walker, but he's, sorry, no, 98, excuse me, he's catching in front. So he is about to try and challenge again for second position here, I think. Mark Stewart then fighting back after that disastrous start that he had. So too is Michael Fitzgerald. Like my warning flag going out for somebody, could be anybody in this group really, couldn't it? They've all exceeded track limits at least once in this race. Fitzgerald then pulls to the outside of Paul Stewart into Colonial. And there's the 98 car, excuse me. So yeah, the 98 to Barry Barrable, of course, I've just commented and dropped down the order. So Barrable, work to be done. Right, back to some Mazdas now, for surprisingly some slightly calmer racing. Robert Kennedy is the 42 car, who we didn't see out there in the previous race, but he is out there now, and he is challenging for what is 4th position in the MX5s. To try and gain that position into Debtor's Dip. That I don't think was going to work on that occasion though. Back to the Fiestas now. We've had our 20 seconds of calm, and now the second place battle heads into the hairpin, with the 55 of Mark Stewart fishing around, trying to find a way past here. The 13 car, Andy Kavanagh, of course, is the man that he's trying to overtake, and Kavanagh, with that tight line into the hairpin, just drifts a bit wide on the exit. Stewart was faced with much the same situation when he was racing with Brendan Fitzgerald for the victory in race 1. He could close and he could get to the outside line into the hairpin, but never could quite execute that switchback manoeuvre. And he seems to be having similar difficulties now. So he's still stuck behind. Behind him, though, it's side by side for 4th place as Michael Fitzgerald pulls up alongside Paul Stewart, but it's the outside line into Colonial. The white and blue car has the position, the black and yellow wants it and can't go through. And now has he left the door open for Neville Anderson? No, Anderson stuck his nose in the gap, but wasn't able to get the whole car on the inside. So down into the hairpin we go again, and Mark Stewart to the outside line, trying his best here to prise this door open. Now this is what happened, I think, on the first lap, isn't it? Yeah, we've changed around again here, so Fitzgerald of the Michael variety has gone back to the back of this queue now. Some decent progress. Oh, and there's a car slowing. Now, is that the number 13? That's Andy Kavanagh, I think, isn't it? From second place, and that just makes Mark Stewart's day a little bit easier. So Andy Kavanagh slows, and unfortunately appears to be heading into retirement. Megan Campbell never started the race, but we have got everybody else out there, I believe. So just the one retirement. Oren O'Neill here, meanwhile, racing away with number 31, Stephen Murray, and she's ahead of Murray. Murray trying to get this place back here. This is for second position. You can see there's no catching David Cousins, though. He's escaped up the road, and David is enjoying about a 7-second cushion at the moment as we go into the last few minutes. It's been another hugely entertaining race. The Mazdas, once again, have had a slightly calmer time of it, but not massively. 31 car over the chicane curbs. One of the Fiestas leaps into sight behind them. There is the rest of the Fiesta pack, and once again we've got the situation now where the Mazda leaders are going to have to start picking their way through that almighty squabble that's going on in the Fiesta ranks. It's going to be easy to do. There you go, just illustrate the point. They're filling most of the track again, just as David Cousins arrives on their tail. One or two of them have got a lap down, including the number 18 of Conor Mulholland, who's recovering from his spin earlier on. Side by side again, Anderson up the inside of Stewart, and also Barry Barrable and Michael Fitzgerald, and the number 14 of Ricky Hull. And there, just for good measure, is our Mazda leader, David Cousins, who is faced with a wall of Fiestas. There's just nowhere to go. You can't simply drive past them because they're running 2 and 3 abreast in front of you. So he actually has to take to the curb there, coming out of Fishman's to try and lever his way alongside Michael Fitzgerald, who then sends it into the chicane because he's more preoccupied with racing the other Fiestas. Doesn't particularly seem to care that the overall race leader is trying to put a lap on him. Now they go onto the back straight. The Fiestas all move to the right to attack and defend each other, and that finally gives David Cousins an opening down the outside, but I don't think he'll clear all of them here. That Mazda is quicker in a straight line, but not that much quicker. He's going to have to do some work under braking here. He's got plus 2 or 3 of them. Mark Stewart's going to fall right to the back of this group if he's not too careful. Through the hairpin. How did that work out on the other side? Let's see. That looks like it's Mark Stewart coming through in second position, and then third place is going to be, well, the Mazda comes through next, just about ahead of the Fiestas. It looks as though it might have been Barry Barrable that had gone through there, possibly. So through goes David Cousins then. Who is it that's in third place in the Fiestas? Hopefully we'll get a glimpse of them in a moment or two. Neville Anderson was up there, so too Barry Barrable. It's one of those two that's gone through, but all the blue and yellow cars are getting themselves together now, which has been my worst nightmare all race long, especially since the positions are changing almost by the corner. The good news is, if I have a stab of giving you what the order is, it might be right at some point, because they've been in pretty much every conceivable order you can imagine, that lot, at some point during this race. This man, though, hasn't led all the way, had some overtaking to do early on after a slightly sluggish start, but David Cousins has been able to get himself out in front and hasn't really looked back ever since. He's about to pull a lap on Mark Stewart, and I think this may be the final lap. He might squeeze one more out of it, but there's not a lot of time left on the clock. Cousins to the outside of Stewart, then into the hairpin. And Mark Stewart, I think, will go a lap down. But yeah, I think we are going to see the checkered flag this time, potentially. Then out of the final corner, is the checkered flag being readied? Yes, it is. And for the second time, it waves for David Cousins, who wins in the Mazda MX5s. And wins it in the end by a very, very comfortable margin. Oren O'Neill will be second. There she is, in amongst the traffic, 7.2 seconds back. And Stephen Murray eventually comes across the line in the black and green Mazda MX5 in third position. The bulk of the Fiestas were one lap down, so Mark Stewart will be second. Neville Anderson got third, so he got past Barry Barrable on that final lap. He is fourth. Paul Stewart rounds out the top 5. The win will go once again to Brendan Fitzgerald, who gets to do an extra lap because he was the only Fiesta that did not go a lap down. Confirmation of the result then, Cousins from O'Neill, from Murray and Jim Kennedy in the MX5 ranks. That was your order with the 4 MX5s that got to the finish. In the Fiestas, Fitzgerald wins by a lap essentially, but Mark Stewart was second, Neville Anderson third, Barry Barrable fourth and Paul Stewart fifth. Then Michael Fitzgerald, Ricky Hull, Conor Mulholland and Dan Keelan to round out the top 9. Stephen Walker and Michael Mulholland at the back. Just the one non-finisher, and that was Andy Kavanagh. David, a double race victory this weekend. Yes. Not a bad day.
No, not a bad day, as you say. It's been a long time coming, and this car is sort of starting to turn the corner of being an MX5. It wasn't an MX5 at the start of the season. Don't know what it was, but because I built that car and the green car and the white car as well. So, and they were all a lot faster than this car was. So we're getting there with this one now. So that's good.
You just like making life difficult for yourself, don't you?
Yeah, no, just busy. Garage, workshop, and East Engineering. Get the pug in, and yeah, it's just been. It was a good day, and I just got it right today. But next month it'll be a different story, I'm sure, because Oren, there will not be so many Fiestas to get in the road. So Oren will be on the tail, and there's another guy, Rob Kennedy, who couldn't be here today. And he actually holds the lap record for the Mazdas, so yeah, I'm about half a second off his laps at the minute, so it's just luck at the minute. Thank you very much.
Thank you, well done. Well, 2 second place finishes today at Kirkistown. That one a slightly less eventful finish to the race, but another good finish.
Yeah, and that one's probably a bit more exciting. My dad was out in that one as well, so the first time we've ever raced together. Was with him for the first few laps, and then he fell behind a little. But no, it was a good race.
And super close and super clean as well, even amongst all of the traffic.
Yeah, again, passing the Fiestas, they're very good. We're very good to each other, we give each other space. No, it was a good race.
Well, another third place finish. It's the same podium again. You three, you just can't separate, can you?
No, it's touch and go between us all, like definitely. As I say, if you get a car length, it is very, very difficult to make that car length up. If you get 2 car lengths, you are driving really hard onto them corners to try and make up the straights, you know. But it was a good race. A good race. Enjoyed it very much.
Was there any particular part of the circuit where you felt you were a bit stronger, maybe?
Well, on the start line, it's very quick off the start line, and on the straights, and some through the gears from about 3rd to 4th, she's sharp as well. Where I lose out mainly is, well, Ern's a good driver. I can't take it away from her. She definitely is a 100% driver, and parts of the course here are very tricky. But we'll get her eventually. Get her eventually.
Loving the confidence. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well, another podium then, another solid day, and an outright podium as well, which was nice.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with that, considering the start of the race started off not so great for me. I just seemed to go backwards and backwards. I think it was in 7th or 8th at one point. That was good fun racing, and then managed to make my way back up the field. But first was well out of reach for me, unfortunately.
I have to say, watching both of the races from down here in Assembly, the commitment into that hairpin is something else.
Yeah, no, these wee Fiestas, they might be small, but they're quick enough in the corners, and it's good fun always.
And also, speaking to Orange just now, she was saying how impressed she was that you were all able to stay out of the way. Well, considering you were 3 abreast for most of the race, all the more impressive.
Yeah, we always have to keep an eye on our mirrors for the Mazdas, the quicker cars coming through, but yeah, we always manage to stay out of each other's way.
Well, a great day's racing, thoroughly entertaining, and well done.
Thank you, cheers.